Hey ChatGPT, could you share your thoughts on time dilation, Islamic perspectives on time, relativity, and cosmic gateways? Additionally, what is Einstein's perspective or his theory regarding this topic?
Surah Al-Hajj 22:47. And they challenge you to hasten the punishment, and Allah will not fail in his promise. And indeed, a day with your Lord is like 1,000 years of what you count. This verse highlights the different perceptions of time in relation to divine will and human understanding, reflecting the notion that time can be perceived differently by God compared to humans. Sufi, the Quran, and Einstein's theory of relativity both describe how time is relative and depends on your speed and frame of reference. Quran verses related to time dilation 22:47. A day of your Lord is like 1,000 years of what you count. Quran 32:5. He arranges each matter from the heavens to the earth. Then it will ascend to him in a day, the extent of which is 1,000 years of those which you count. Quran 70:5. The angels and the Spirit ascend to him in a day, the measure of which is 50,000 years. As per Einstein's theory of time dilation is the difference in elapsed time between two events for observers who are moving relative to each other. The faster you go, the more time is affected. For someone moving close to the speed of light, time almost stops.
Thank you so much, ChatGPT, for the insight. Hey, everyone, take a look at the book in front of the microphone. You can access this book and all others completely for free. It's available for your reading pleasure and to gain more knowledge. You can also download the book for offline reading. The link is provided on the screen and in the video description. Now, let me invite Jack and Wilson for a deeper discussion on this topic. Hey everyone, before we get started, I noticed in my YouTube channel analytics that many of you watching aren't subscribed. If you could do me a big favor and hit that subscribe button, I'd really appreciate it. It motivates me and helps the channel grow, so I can create more videos like the one you're about to see. Also, as some of you requested, my team has launched a website where you can read my books and find transcripts of all my videos in the form of small booklets. The link is in video description. We're working hard to produce informative videos daily, along with books and transcripts. I'd love your help in spreading dawah, calling to Allah's message. Please click the join button to show your support. Now, let's dive in.
Have you ever felt like time is just like slipping away from us faster and faster these days?
Like it's accelerating or something.
Exactly. Yeah, like the days are getting shorter, the years are just flying by.
Yeah, I know exactly what you mean.
Well, today, we're going to do a deep dive into that exact feeling.
Okay.
We're going to explore the concept of time travel.
Time travel. All right.
But not in the way that you might immediately think, right? We're not talking spaceships and gadgets and things like that.
Right.
Instead, we're going to look at time travel through the lens of Islamic mystical traditions.
Okay.
Specifically, Sufi mysticism.
Interesting.
And then we're going to compare those perspectives to what modern science understands about time.
All right. I'm intrigued. Where are we going to start with this?
Our guide for this journey is an article called Pasted Text. It explores some pretty fascinating intersections between Islamic teachings and modern physics.
Okay. Islamic teachings and modern physics. So right off the bat, we're talking about like blending spirituality and science.
Yeah, exactly. And the article begins with this really captivating quote. It's from the Prophet Muhammad.
Okay.
And it was spoken over 1,400 years ago. But it really captures this modern feeling that we all have that time is accelerating.
Okay. What's the quote?
The quote is, "Time will accelerate so much that a year will feel like a month like a week like a day like an hour, and an hour like a fleeting spark."
Wow. It's really incredible. And a little eerie how accurately that describes how a lot of us feel these days.
I know.
Like he was speaking about, 21st century life.
Exactly. And you know what I find really fascinating is that this isn't just some, poetic metaphor or anything.
Right.
The Quran itself actually hints at the idea that time isn't this fixed thing. It's not absolute.
Okay, so how does the Quran address time?
Well, there are verses that talk about how Allah, angels, and humans all perceive time differently.
So different beings experience time differently.
Exactly. And this aligns with what science has discovered in recent centuries.
About time being relative.
Exactly. Like Einstein's theory of relativity.
Right. Which basically says that time isn't this constant universal thing, but it's influenced by things like speed and gravity.
Yeah, exactly.
So both modern physics and ancient Islamic teachings seem to agree that time isn't this rigid, fixed thing.
Exactly. Okay, but then how does all this connect to time travel?
Right. Good question.
Because the article that we're looking at here also talks about angels traveling vast distances and jinn trying to grab knowledge from the heavens.
Yeah, those are common themes in Islamic scripture.
So how do we connect those ideas to the concept of time travel?
Well, Islamic tradition holds that angels, because they're made of light, can travel at incredible speeds.
Okay, and?
Well, now think about the scientific concept of time dilation that we were just talking about.
Time dilation. Remind me.
But time slows down for objects that are traveling at speeds close to the speed of light. So if angels can move at those speeds, they could be experiencing time completely differently from us.
So, what we perceive as a long journey for an angel could be like a blink of an eye to them.
Exactly.
But does that mean they're, outside of time as we understand it?
It's possible. Their experience of time could be so radically different from ours.
It makes me wonder, how do they interact with the physical world if their perception of time is so different from ours?
Those are really interesting questions. And it sort of leads us to how Sufi mysticism kind of expands on these ideas.
Okay.
Sufi traditions introduce ideas like Basta-Zaman, which is the expansion of time, and Ta'i Makan, which is the folding of space.
I gotta say, it kind of sounds like science fiction.
It does.
But it's rooted in, centuries-old spiritual practices.
Exactly. It's pretty mind-boggling when you think about it.
It really is. So these concepts suggest that time and space could be more malleable than we think they are.
Right. Much more.
And the article talks about stories of Sufi saints who, through spiritual practices and divine blessings, could perform, these amazing feats in unbelievably short periods.
Right.
And even, appear in multiple places at once.
Yeah, those stories are common in Sufi traditions.
Now, whether you interpret those as, literal events or metaphorical teachings, I think they definitely point to a very different understanding of time than we typically have.
I agree. It challenges our everyday experience of time.
So, are we saying that Sufi mystics were essentially time travelers?
Perhaps, but maybe not in the way we typically imagine time travel.
How so?
Maybe their understanding of time was so advanced that they could manipulate it in ways we can't even fathom.
Okay.
And this kind of brings us to Ibn Arabi, who was a prominent Sufi mystic who had some really groundbreaking views on time.
Right. The article mentions him. And I gotta say, his ideas seem really, really complex.
They are, but very profound.
Could you kind of unpack them for us a little bit?
Sure. So Ibn Arabi believed that this measurable time that we experience, with clocks and calendars, is actually an illusion.
An illusion.
Yeah. He thought it was shaped by our perception, how we perceive reality. And he talked about a realm where the past, present, and future coexist.
All at the same time?
Exactly. Suggesting that our linear understanding of time, past, present, future, is very limited.
So, for Ibn Arabi, time travel wouldn't be about physically moving through time.
Right.
But about shifting your consciousness to experience time in a different way.
Exactly. He was really challenging the very foundation of how we think about time.
And what I find really interesting is that his ideas actually kind of resonate with some modern theories in physics that also suggest that time may not be as straightforward as we think it is.
Yeah, there are definitely parallels there. It's fascinating how ancient mystical thought and modern scientific inquiry sometimes seem to be arriving at similar conclusions, just from different angles.
Yeah, exactly. And then there's the Quranic concept of pathways and gateways connecting different realms.
Right.
This seems to almost echo the idea of wormholes in modern physics.
Wormholes, yeah.
Those theoretical tunnels that could allow travel across vast distances in an instant.
Yeah. They're like shortcuts through space-time.
So, it makes you wonder if these ancient Islamic texts were describing phenomena that science is only now beginning to grasp.
It really does. The parallels are definitely there.
And then when you consider the Prophet Muhammad's night journey, the Isra and Miraj.
Right, where he journeyed from Mecca to Jerusalem and then ascended through the heavens.
Yeah, and experienced all these different dimensions. Could that also be an example of traversing time and space in ways that we just can't fully comprehend?
It's certainly an intriguing interpretation. It definitely challenges our conventional notions of time and space.
This whole conversation is making me question everything I thought I knew about time.
I know, right?
Yeah.
It's mind-bending.
Yeah, it's like both these ancient Islamic perspectives and modern science are kind of converging on the idea that time is way more complex and maybe more malleable than we tend to believe.
Definitely more than our everyday experience might suggest.
It really does make you wonder, though, if time isn't as fixed and linear as we assume it is, what does that mean for our understanding of, like, reality itself?
Right.
What about destiny?
Yeah.
Free will?
Huge questions. It really opens up a whole new universe of possibilities.
It really does. Lots to ponder, that's for sure.
Definitely. Food for thought.
Thank you for joining us for today's podcast. I hope you've gained some valuable insights. If you're a truth seeker, yearning for divine light and ready to step out of darkness, now is your moment. The truth is that Allah is the one and only creator of the universe. He has sent over 124,000 messengers and prophets to guide humanity, starting with Adam and culminating with the final messenger, Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon them all. If you resonate with this message, you might be ready to embrace Islam. Simply recite the Shahada, the Islamic declaration of faith. For further support, feel free to join our WhatsApp group. You can send us a private message there. The link is in the video description. Don't wait until it's too late. We look forward to connecting with you soon.